You're all
Hello,
set.
thanks. This is the Bridgewater Community Preservation Committee meeting on March 27th. Present are myself, Gina Gasconi, Chair, Carlton Hunt, Vice Chair, Jeff Merriman, Harry Bailey, and Maureen Manasian, which makes a quorum. And we also have someone from the Hanson Farm here as a guest.
Gina, I'm
Hey.
going to interrupt. I'm going to leave, and you need to, I made you host of the meeting, so you just need to make Carlton co-host, and he'll be able to share his screen.
Okay, sounds
right.
good, Debbie. Thank you
Have a
so
good
much.
night, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, bye-bye. Okay, I actually should have called to order first. We started at 6:33, called to order 6:33. I'm already jumping out of order. Okay, chair's announcements. I don't have any announcements, at least that I can think of now, but we know me, I sometimes think of them later. Okay, public comment. Okay, hearing none. We have two sets of minutes to approve, February 28th and March 18th. The 28th was a regular meeting. The 18th was a special meeting for the senior center application. You should have got both sets in from Josh. Okay, any discussion on them? Start with February 28th.
I'll go ahead and I'll move to approve the minutes of the February 28th and also March 18th, 2024.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Oh, no. Okay.
Whoever.
Okay. Discussion? Okay, hearing none, roll call vote. Gina, yes. Carlton,
Yes.
Maureen,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Harry,
Yes.
and I think that's all of us. Okay. That was easy. Okay, financial reports. Carlton, do you want to?
Sure. I can do a quick one. I'm assuming that was sent out, so I'm just going to look at what I put together. Basically, for our current estate surcharge, we've got about 85% towards our budget goal. So I think we're in pretty good shape there. The state match came in at about 6% above what we had anticipated, so that was good news. With respect to the projects, we only have, my notes are, we have in the administrative expenses, we've got 46,500 that have not been committed yet. We will be committing, we'll have a conversation about it a little bit later, but we'll be committing 35,250 for the 5-year CPC plan. The contract is out there to be signed, and that was the budgeted amount. So right now we'll have about 11,250 available. And I want to talk a bit more about that when we get to the appraisal that was done.
Do you want to, excuse me, do you want to put that up on the screen? I just made you co-host.
If you have it, you can put it up. I don't have it easily accessible.
Okay, I'll try. Can't guarantee.
So while you're working on it, so basically the Summer Street property is still, the money is still in the accounts, and we're still working on figuring out how to have that moved to another account that will protect the money, but we won't have to deal with it every week, every month. The Housing Authority has not accessed any of their funds yet. The pickleball court, we have all the final invoices, so I think, and I do believe we have a final report, so I think tonight, a little later, we can actually close that account and return some money back to the open space account. The Parthenon Frieze, I'll talk about that later on. And then the Stiles and Hart, we have about $1.2 million left. The town manager announced at the town council meeting last night that they had were ready to sign a contract for a little bit under $800,000. And of that 800,000, I think about 55 or 60% is reimbursable through the state grant. So the good news there is that unless they run into some really big bumps, we should see at the end of that project some money returned to the open space account. But that's to be done over the next several months. Looking further, the McElwain School has accessed all of theirs money, so that's basically been spent out. And we're basically paying off the bonds that we have. So as I try to do, we have about $2,500,000 that's committed funds. Looking at all the reserve accounts and the other accounts that we can spend money from, we've got about $1.5 million of uncommitted money right now. Of that, there's about 800,000 that's available for open space projects. So that's where we're at with the financial report.
Okay.
And I don't know if you want to deal with the budget. The budget's later on. The FY25
Yeah,
budget's later.
budgets. Yeah, how do I? Okay, I just copied it.
Well,
Share content, hold on. Okay,
so anybody, if
I don't know
anybody,
how to do it, but you covered it pretty good. Does
Yeah,
anybody
if
have
anybody
any
has-
questions?
yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Carlton. Questions, as Carlton said, it was sent out. And for some reason, this isn't letting me share. Don't know why, but, okay, but he covered it pretty good. Okay, old business. We talked about the policies and procedures document, last month. And probably for the last year, we talked about it. Carlton had sent it out and asked for comments, or questions. I don't believe he's gotten any. So if we could vote on that tonight
Well,
to accept,
I did send out, it was requested that we provide another definition in that, and I have added that to the document. I don't want to put it up. I can, but I don't want to put it up. But I received no comments and I added that piece to it. So hopefully we can vote and close it out so we can post it to the website.
okay, any comments or questions, comments, concerns on the policies and procedures document? As we've said before, it actually started as just a several page document. Now it's several tens of pages. It's for us, it's for other town employees, it's for community preservation people in the future. So people know what we do and how we do it. And in most cases, why we do it. So if there's no questions or comments, if we could have a motion to accept it, and once we accept it, we'll, as Carlton just said, we'll have it put on our community preservation webpage on the town site.
I'll
Anybody?
move to to accept the policies and procedures document.
Okay, great. Thanks, Jeff. Second,
I'll second it.
Second, Harry.
okay. Any discussion? Okay, I would just like to thank Carlton immensely for his work that he put into this. It was a lot of work. It was a lot just to review and go over it and all the things he found and put in there. It was unbelievable, the work he put into it. So I just want to thank him for that.
You're welcome.
I agree. Thank you, Carlton. A lot of work.
Right on.
Yep, lots of work. I don't know what he's gonna do with his spare time now that that's done.
And something.
Okay, oh, roll call vote, Gina, yes. Carlton,
Yes,
I was gonna say you best say yes. Jeff,
Yes.
Harry,
Yes.
Maureen,
yes,
okay, let me just
Thank
make
you,
sure.
guys. Thank you, guys.
Oh. Okay, great. Applications received, under old business B, the senior center community garden. You know, we had lots of discussion on that in our two previous meetings. What it boiled down to was, according to the Stuart Saginaw, of the state CPA coalition, advised that most of it, of their phase one that was in the application that we received, was ineligible for community preservation monies. And it was even questionable, the term community garden being used for what was in the application. At our March 18th special meeting, it was voted to refer it to our town attorney, for him to review. Carlton and I, in our meeting with the town manager, a monthly meeting with him, last week, we talked about it. And we also met with Emily Williams from the senior center and explained everything to her. Basically what we had said in the meeting too, and try to just come up with things to help her, for funding. And the town manager said, we asked to be involved when the town attorney spoke with, we requested that he speak to the coalition. Carlton and I requested to be present. We don't have a time or a date for that. But what we do have is, okay, I'm just admitting two people here. Okay, here we go. The town manager advised us, in his opinion, just to put the application on hold until it's looked at by the town attorney and more is done with it. He suggested not having them withdraw it, just put it on hold for now for further discussion at some point. I don't know if we need a vote to put it on hold, or just, I guess we do, a vote to take no action right now at present.
I'll move to hold action on that until we receive additional information.
Okay, second.
Second, Harry.
Okay, thank you. Discussion? Okay, I'm just writing the motion here, hold. Okay, roll call vote, Gina, yes, Carlton,
Yes,
Jeff,
Yes.
Harry,
Yes.
and Maureen.
yes.
Okay, great. Hanson's Farm application, Carlton can speak more on that.
I spoke with the Hansons today, Mr. David Hanson. We had a very nice conversation. Right now, excuse me, their attorney and the town's attorney are in negotiations. But what I found out is that the Hansons have asked, are doing some more due diligence with respect to the number of lots that are in the property underneath the current housing code where it sits underneath. And so they're doing some due diligence on that. I spoke with the town manager a little bit, and the deed restriction and the holders of the deed restrictions, that's still being worked on. And also we're still working on, the town manager has two different grants that he wants to go for to help offset the cost of this. Should we recommend and the town council vote it, appropriate the money? But those two grants, one requires access under the grant agreement. The other one does not require access to the property. So that's still up in the air a little bit, but the town manager wants to meet the deadline for that, which is coming up fairly shortly. So right now, we don't have any additional information to pursue right now. So we can just hold this over as old business to the next meeting.
Great. Janet, I have a question. I see that you're on, and there's also a Hanson Farm that's on. Is that Bob? Janet? Okay, maybe they're both her. Maybe she logged in twice. Okay, thank you, Colin. Questions or anything on the Hanson Farm application? Okay, good. Next, project updates, Styles and Hart improvement. Two things on that. The first, we still never got from the town manager exactly what our
Gina, Gina,
award
Janet,
is.
Gina, excuse me,
Janet,
Janet,
you're back.
Janet,
Sorry, I was having trouble unmuting, and I just want to let you know David's here and Bob is the Hanson Farm. He's somewhere else, but he's the Hanson Farm, and David's here if you had.
I know he's on the back.
Okay,
forty.
great. Hello
Back
to all.
Can you
Okay.
hear me now?
Yep,
Yes,
we can hear you.
Okay, yep.
Great, thanks.
You have anything, David, you want to say?
So the only thing I talked to Carlton was about that we got a call from Wildlands Trust, interested in, see if we wanted to participate in their program. So I would think that the town would want to look into partnering with them if they're interested in preserving the farm.
David, to that point, I did communicate to the town manager that there was some interest there, and he was going to reach out to Wildlands Trust.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great, thank you to both of you.
Okay,
Okay, anything else for Hanson's Farm?
not on our end.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Okay, project updates, Tiles and Hart. As I was saying, when we gave the CPA award, we had requested a list from the town manager on what our award would cover. To this date, we still don't have it. We're actually getting invoices in the last few days that I've told the town manager that unless we get a list to see what we're actually paying for, I hesitate approving invoices. So there's that one. And plus the bid, they had put out a bid for the trails, for the renovation of the trails improvements, and it was received back. And it was they had a number of responses, and they went anywhere from, Carlton, correct me if I'm wrong, to 800,000 to like 3 million.
2 million.
2 million, okay.
difference.
Thank you. So they were reviewing those. So that's where that starts. Harry, do you know any more on that?
No, I haven't heard anything.
Well,
Okay.
as I said earlier, town manager did say that they're in the process of approving a contract for that 800,000.
Right. Okay, Hemlock Drive windows replacement, the grant agreement has been sent out. I believe they were just waiting for it to be returned. Then the project can start. Old State Farm trails, if anybody has anything to add for any of these, just jump right in. Old State Farm trails, I believe they were finishing up on the planning of it. It's the last I had heard on it.
Town manager talked about it last night at the council meeting. My understanding is that the state, the redraw, they had to move around some wet areas, that kind of thing, but all that work has been done. And they have accessed all of the funds that CPA provided for that planning project. And the last thing I think he said is that the NRTB
NRTB,
has raised a number of funds for the implementation of the program, and all of that's a work in progress. And the other thing, because I've been asking whether or not they would be coming back to the town CPC for additional funds, and he's repeatedly told us that that's not in the works right now or in the plan. So and hopefully the NRTB will be raising enough funds that they don't have to come to CPA for more money.
good, thank you. The next is the Parthenon freeze, and I'm gonna defer to Carlton for that one too.
Yeah, that's been a work that's been a bit of a struggle. The freezes were finished last August. And then there was some concern, as I've mentioned before, about where they will be installed. So we reached out to the town, and I believe the department that's going to manage it going forward is the Department of Public Works. And I believe they are looking for a contractor to come in and strengthen the area where when you go in the Academy building, the front steps, there's that guardrail around a hole to the basement, and we're planning to put those frees up above. And so they're looking to strengthen that area. And the last I heard is, and I've asked to be part of any review committee on that, but the last I heard is that they're working to try to get a contractor to come in and redo that. So there's no real schedule right now. And I have not heard whether or not they will in fact move the frees that are done from the restoration firm down here to Bridgewater and store them temporarily somewhere safe. So that's where I'm at with it. And I apologize, I don't know more, but that's what I know for at the moment.
Great. And it's a shame too that it took so long. I mean, the frees were restored back in September, maybe? August. And it's taken that they've just been in storage. It's taken this long for the town to decide what they were doing and how to hang them. To have the contractor in, somebody to look at the stability of the place for it to be held. Summer Street Mobile Station, as Carlton mentioned, the money is still showing that it hasn't been paid yet, which is true. It hasn't been paid yet. And basically because of who to pay. And I think we had talked about that issue way back when, that the trustees of the property, I think they were called trustees, were all fictitious people. We've asked that the money be put into a special account and taken off of CPC because it looks like it's still, we're holding on to it. It's not paid. So we're hoping they can do that. The town manager's spoken to the finance director.
I think
try
the
to-
budgets, I think he said the budget season's got them very busy right now. So that's going to be a bit more.
Right, they're swamped.
But the open items on that project or the deed restriction is being worked on by the town attorney, we're told. The park grant, if an application for it to be an official park and grant money is in the works, as it has been for several months. And the other piece is that I can say that there is a new plan for how to outreach to the public in terms of the use of how that property is used as a park. What we were told this week, or when we met with the town manager, is their plan is to not do a in-person meeting, but they're going to tape the proposal and what the plan looks like, and they're going to put that out on some type of social media and the town website, etc. But they're also going to add to that a series of would you like this? Would you like that? What would you like? A list of things that people can kind of go in and vote what they want it to be and what it should look, how they want it to be. So that's a work in progress. I didn't hear a schedule, but I think it's going to be in the next month or so. But the idea is to get the input from the public, not by a public meeting, but by through virtual and social media.
Great, thank you. Questions on any of those? Comments? Okay. Broad Street Properties, their deed was being done. It should be done by now. And I believe they have to make that into the park also, Carlton.
I'm assuming that they have to do, I don't recall exactly, but the assumption is that they're gonna have to do a formal vote from the town council or somehow to add those 2 parcels into the park so that they're eligible and that's all, the park plan that was contracted out or is being contracted out included those parcels and some parking there and some access. So it's all playing together. I didn't ask the question about when that would be added to the park. I'm assuming it will be.
Great. Hopefully we have more to report back on next month.
Oh, the other thing I forgot on the Stiles and Hart, when the Stiles and Hart the grant got signed, there were 2 counselors that were no longer chair or vice chair. So the town council had to vote to have the current vice chair and vice chair replace those people on the grant, and that's all been done now. So everything's moving forward.
Good. Okay, that was Broad Street. Project updates for completed projects. We're just waiting for final reports for the McElwain School and the townhouse. And once we have those, we can vote to accept them and take those
will
off our agenda. And we'll get
I-
those posted too.
And I will say that the final project reports for 2 of the projects have been completed and I believe are now posted on the website.
Okay, good. That was the pickleball courts and the memorial building.
Right. And so now that that's done, I don't know if we have it on the agenda tonight, but we need to vote to have that money from the pickleball court brought back into the open space account.
I think we voted on it last month.
Okay, my bad.
Yep, and it just hasn't been moved yet. But I'll follow up on that. Okay, the administrative accounts, the fiscal 23 carryovers, it's just recognition plaques, and I know Carlton's been working hard on those too.
Right. I've got a request for cost to Bridgewater trophy, and hopefully they're in a busy season themselves. Hopefully they'll get back to it and we can get them installed. I've also asked about installations and that kind of thing. So as soon as I get his cost estimates fit within our budget, then I will move forward to get those done. And
Okay,
only for
great.
town properties, the only town part, no private.
Okay, great. Next, the annual public hearing and 5-year plan. As Carlton mentioned before, and the contracts being signed, we had voted at the February meeting to award the contract to J.M. Golson for the plan. And we're hoping to meet with Jen. We had asked her to come to our May meeting, and she couldn't make it, but maybe we can get her for the April meeting. If not, we'll meet with her before to see, just to get her schedule of what she plans on doing. I know she plans on having some public sessions to see what people want in the final public hearing. And we're combining that with our annual public hearing. So there'll be 2 of them together. Okay, and that contract, I believe, had a date to be signed by April 1st. And I think last I knew, the town manager was waiting to get J.M. Golson's contract back, their version of their standard contract. Okay, next under new business is the FY25 budget. And I think we're going to hit record time for getting the budget submitted. Couple things, they're actually estimating less of an income between the the state match and the CPA surcharge. Last year for fiscal 24, I believe it was $1 million. Now it's 975,000. Just for the decreases, the projected decrease in the state match. As you know, we have to put, and I'll let Carlton talk more on this, but as you know, we have to put a minimum of 10% into each of the buckets: community housing, open space and recreation, and historical resources. Last year we had voted just to put the 10% in, not higher. Other years we've tried to anticipate what we're spending. Last year we opted to let it go into my brain just went there. What is it? What's the word I'm looking for? The
Budget
on what?
reserve.
Budget reserve, but on our budget sheets, it's called something else, but the same thing. And then we have to put our maximum of 5% into admin services, which we usually do the 5%. I'll let Carlton talk about why. If you look at the historical resources reserve, it's 0. It's towards the top of his screen there. The other two have 10% in it. Historical resources has 0, and he can explain why.
I did a little bit of work with this, and I saw in one of the Department of Revenue's guidance documents, and I've shared this with the town manager and the finance director, and they have approved what we're doing. Basically what they said in there is, if you have a bond that is at least 10% of one of the categories, in this case, the historical reserve. If you see down below, we have the Academy building is 240,000 in principal and 85,000 plus in interest. That's way beyond the 97,500 that were required, 10%. So based on that, you can use that money that you're already spending as the reserve account. And so under that direct guidance and direction, and with the town manager and finance director's approval, we zeroed out the historical reserve. What that does is talk about our debt service at 374,000, but we also have a way to get at the 2025 money if we set aside this budgetary reserve. So the money that would have been up here at 97.5 has now been added into this budgetary reserve. So the total use of funds is 975 with the 10% and 5% set aside, as we talked about, and anything that we didn't have a place to put it would go into the budgetary reserves. That allows us to access that money next year as we needed to have it. So basically, we have no surplus, no deficit in our budget. And if the members here want to do that tonight, we can have a motion to approve and submit this budget for the town.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? So we put Carlton, can you move your screen down a little just so we can see the buckets? Okay, you can see the source of funds is estimated at 975,000. The 3 buckets, pots, community housing, we're doing the 10%. We have to put a minimum of 10%, same for open space recreation. And as Carlton explained why historical is at 0.
I would just, Gina, I'm going to add one thing, because the Keith Homestead, which is an open space piece, because that's under the 10%, we couldn't do the same thing. We couldn't zero that one out. So basically we have to put the reserve in as is.
Great, thank you. Admin expenses, we we can't put more than 5%, and we've been doing the 5%. I don't know if we need 5% this year. We may. I don't know what we have for surveys or anything like that coming up, appraisals.
What I'm gonna add to, I'm not sure what the town wants to do about it, but the open space plan has to be updated in FY '25, maybe later in FY '25. So I don't know if the town would want the CPA to help fund that. So I think it's wise to keep the money in there just in case we need it for the next open space plan.
Okay, and if we don't spend it, it just goes into the undesignated. That was the word I was
Undesignated.
trying to think of before. Undesignated. Same thing as on the budget. It shows it as budgetary reserves. It's basically undesignated. Does anybody have questions on how we explain the budget? Okay, hearing none. I'd entertain a motion to approve the budget.
I'll make a motion to approve the budget as presented.
Okay, thank you, Harry.
Second,
Carlton, was that you?
yes.
Okay, discussion? Okay, and I'd like to thank Carlton for finding that little tidbit. The little tidbit about if we had a bond in one of the categories that was bigger than the 10%, because that could come in handy, give us more money for undesignated. Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, roll call. Gina, yes. Carlton,
Yes.
Jeff,
Okay,
Yes,
Harry,
Yes,
and Maureen.
I'm waiting.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, was
Oh,
that,
thank you.
okay, Maureen, you said yes too,
I
right?
did, yes.
Okay, great. Okay. Like I said, I think that's a record for us to get on. Usually they don't even give us the forms till after this. Okay, committee liaison reports. I'll just say for Parks and Rec, one of the things we're looking at is what to do for the Jenny Leonard property. The town manager just needs to sign off to accept the piece of land that was given to by the developers to the town for parking. And by signing off, I believe it is to go to the council to accept it as a gift. And that's in the works. And that's about it for Parks and Rec. Maureen, anything for open space?
No, we did not have a meeting. So there's nothing new to report.
Okay. Harry, anything for Concom?
we're having our meeting tomorrow night and we have a full agenda. We got some new projects, but the Claremont property has asked for an extension.
Oh,
So
okay, so
we
they're
won't
not,
be hearing them.
oh, okay. That's good to know.
Harry, is there anything Concom's looking at, deed restrictions or any of that kind of stuff that would be CPA interest?
Not that I can remember. I didn't see anything.
Thank you.
Okay, good. And Jeff, anything for historical?
sure. Last meeting, we met with someone from the Perkins family and the contractor who's gonna develop the foundry. And we came to an agreement that they're gonna place a plaque about the foundry at the new building they're making. And there's also an effort to bring some of their equipment perhaps to the Ironworks Park as a way to, honor the history there.
Great. I think that's a great idea.
That's super. Jeff, I'm gonna bring something up that I think Historical Commission should be thinking about. The townhouse, the basement has some water leakage. It has the potential, if it's done correctly and thought about and planned for, you could actually have that space be a storage area for some town artifacts, but you could also make it some kind of a museum, depending on how you want. You need an architect to work on it. But I think the Historical Commission should start thinking about how you might want to use that basement of the townhouse for Historical Commission purposes.
Yeah, I'll definitely bring that up. Do you think a good place to put the freezes so we have them
No.
here?
No. The freezes should not be in that kind of environment.
Oh.
That environment is very damp. I think that the idea would be to bring them temporarily. In terms of, it would be well down the road. I think having them in the Academy building is really where the vision is right now.
Yeah, I just meant temporarily, so they're here and not.
That's
Yep.
They were in there. They got broken. That's why some of them were seriously broken.
Oh, is that where they were? Oh,
Yes, and they were just mishandled, and so I think there was some idea to put them somewhere like in a storage area in the Academy building. I just haven't. I have not had any communications on that particular part of the project.
okay.
But
Well, I'll
good
definitely
thinking. Thank you.
I'll bring up that area next meeting.
Thank you.
Okay, great. One of the things I just want to say, I've listened to a historical committee meeting a couple of meetings ago, well, the recording. And also I became aware of at a planning board meeting. I think it's great that the representatives like Jeff and Pat report back to their committees, not just report to us what their committees are doing, but also report back for what CPC is doing. I think that's great. I thank both them. And I know I try to do that with Parks and Rec, and I'm sure Maureen and Harry do the same. So I just think that's good. And I thank the folks for that. Okay, I think that's all of us. Upcoming events, as we said, just upcoming is the 5-year plan as that gets worked on. Public comment,
No public.
okay, I think Bob's the last one here for public.
Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see the Hansons right in front of me.
I'm still
Mhm.
here.
Okay. Any comments, Bob?
No, I'm just enjoying the meeting and seeing how it all works, and was interested in the budget, and so that's why I'm here.
Great, we're glad to have you. Okay, next meeting date is April, hold on, I usually write it down first and I didn't. Let's see. March, April, the 24th, April 24th. As of right now, we're still Zoom. We've talked about going hybrid. Any preference for committee members, Zoom or hybrid? We can't go strictly in person.
I'm all for hybrid.
I've
Okay,
been in hybrid
um,
meetings
good.
in 201A in the Academy building. I have been in hybrid meetings there, so we're told we need a little bit of training in how to do that, but if it's possible, we can do that.
Great. Maureen and Harry, any preference?
I don't really, it doesn't matter to me, whatever works best for everybody. I'm okay.
Okay. Harry?
We do a hybrid meeting for the Taunton River Stewardship Council.
Okay.
It works
that
fine.
works Good. Okay, we'll keep on the town for that. Um, and I just thought of something that, as I said before, I think of the comments partway through, and of course it went out of my head as quick as it came in. So that's it, unless somebody has anything else for new business. Okay, this is like a record meeting for us and we accomplished a lot too. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
Okay, discussion? Is there any discussion to adjourn? Roll call, Gina, yes. Carlton,
Yes.
Maureen,
Yes.
Harry,
Yes.
and Jeff.
Yes.
Okay, the meeting is adjourned at 7:18.
Great work.
Thank you, Gina.
Yep, thank you very much, everybody, for being here. and
Thank
for
you,
your-
Carlton.
your
That
help.
was good work.
Thank you for letting me.
You're
stay.
welcome.
Yep, thank you, and I hope
You
Bob,
guys
you
do
come
hard
back
work,
for
too.
many more.
Okay.
Good night, everyone.
Okay, good night.
Good night.